What is up? Fed interest rate decision this week. This is going to be a big one. Let's dive into these charts and figure out where some of these levels could be at that we could possibly be getting pushed to depending on those numbers. So let's start with SPY. So SPY is at an interesting location. We actually broke this up channel last week, which is not very good for the bulls. And now we're starting to get a little bit of a gap up. The levels that I will be watching to the upside this week are going to be 610. 610 is stacked with options, and so this is going to be extremely hard to get through. If it does break 610, it should be a very quick move straight up to 615. Now, 615 is a very important level for options, for the markets, trying to finish the year out strong. Let's see if we can get a Santa rally. We'll find out what actually happens. But the expected move for the options is telling us about 613. I expect us to stay within that range. In fact, I think 610 is going to be a pretty tough level for us to actually close above for this Friday. So for the bull side, that's what I'm looking at. I would expect us to retest some of these trend lines and possibly find some more rejection coming back through. Now to the bear side, the expected move this week is bringing us right into 599, and we have a crazy amount of puts sitting at 600 that expired this Friday. So most likely we hold 600. We should be staying inside of this box this week. Now the price action inside of that box, we're gonna have to go to a smaller time frame as that price action unfolds throughout the week to let us know where it wants to go, whether or not it's bullish or bearish. But high probability that we do stay inside these areas here. Now, if we start to break 600, that's where things could get very interesting here on SPY. It doesn't have to hold. It's just high probability that it will. So a lot of bulls should be sitting here. If this does break down, we are going to be looking at 595 would be my next spot, but really I like 590. I've been waiting on 590 now for about a month. Quite a few bulls should be here, and then I think we get a Santa rally to close out the year. This year should finish pretty bullish, in my opinion. It doesn't have to, but I think that it will. Diving on over here to the Qs. So the Qs are putting in just a perfect doji at all-time highs, and then immediately gapping up above that is actually really strong. So their expected move is sitting around here at 541, and then the bottom side is 524. So they are skewing a lot more to the bull side here on the Qs. And I would just say look at some of these trend lines to start playing out to see if they do interact. And if so, I would think that'd be the profit target for this week for the bull side. So 535, quite a bit of calls sitting there. 530, quite a bit of calls sitting there. But on the bottom side here, 525 is just stacked with puts. 525 is going to be very, very hard to get below. If it does, then we should be pulling back to this long-term trend line right here on the bottom side of Qs this week. So that brings in 517, 515 area for the Qs, and I would expect it to bounce up off of that most likely. All right, IWM, man, this thing has absolutely been getting roadhoused. Every time the bulls try to step in, they continue to get stopped out. Are we getting close finally to a bounce? I think yes. So probably one more dip coming through this week, but I think we're going to start finding a bottom here soon on IWM. It should at least, and start to bounce. If we continue to get smoked, remember IWM is that canary in the coal mine. If this thing starts to fall off a cliff, which it is starting to, now bulls should step in. Will they? I don't know. If this thing starts to really fall hard, then we know SPY and Qs are just around the corner to follow suit. So keep an eye out for that. But this is a really great buying area. We haven't really gotten any retests up through this area here. A little bit of an open gap, which I still believe we could get to this week. So 231 probably. And then bulls should step in. I believe IWM still has a very high chance to finish this year out at all-time highs, pushing into that 247 to 250 range. It makes a lot of sense. It doesn't have to do anything, but in here is where I'd expect some bulls to be at. Look for your signs, look for your triggers to get into your trades. If you can get that bull momentum down through here, it should be a pretty good trade. The next one that we've been looking at quite a bit here is Nvidia. Now, Nvidia is very much a head and shoulder at this moment, and so we'll see if it wants to break this neckline. That is extremely important. We want to see the bulls step in very hard off of this trend line here. We will see if that's what happens. I believe it probably will, but man, if we start closing down on this, expect quite a bit of selling to happen. I mean, we could be pushing back into 125, down into 120 by the end of the year if this starts to break. A lot of bulls are going to be watching this 132 level, so expect it to break and then get bought up potentially. So this will stop everybody out, cause a lot of selling, and then it should reverse and go squeeze them all out. As soon as the bears commit on this, they're probably going to get beat up pretty good. So that's what I am looking at. If I drew a trend line through here on this bottom, that's probably where we're going to try to get to. Trend line making a move down through there, and then expect this to get bought up if it's going to. Now that's the bull scenario. So either we're bouncing here like it kind of has to, or we're going to break this low, break this support, stop everybody out, and then it rampages to close the year out. Why not? That's what makes the most sense to me. The bear side is we make strong closures down here, it bounces back up, and then the bears come back to play between 135 and 140 and rotate this right back down. So watching for one of those two scenarios to play out at this moment, I think a great trade would be to look at this 132, let it break down and see if it reverses, because that could be a very strong bear squeeze once everybody jumps in bearish on this thing, because the head and shoulder, man, that's speaking quite a bit. So if we look at the expected move of this head and shoulder here and drag this down to the neckline, that's bringing us all the way back down in about 110, 111. So does that correlate here with larger time frames? Yeah, the weekly 50 is sitting right here, and it has been an eternity since we've touched that weekly 50. So if NVIDIA does drop, I believe we're probably working our way down into that 110, 109 area, and bulls should step in from there. So it could be a pretty interesting couple weeks on NVIDIA and on the markets. Again, we have quite a bit of news coming out this week, especially on Wednesday when we're looking at the Fed rate decisions coming in. That is going to sway these markets heavily. So if these markets do pull bearish going into Wednesday, the Fed rate decision could be a catalyst to get us that Santa rally into the end of the year. I am leaning a lot more bullish across the board at this moment. Historically, that's normally how we like to go seasonality-wise into the end of the year, especially after a year that's been this strong. But you never know. History doesn't have to repeat. I think dips down through here are buyable and will get bought back up. So I've gone through a few tickers here. I hope the levels that I've pointed out are going to help you be a little bit more prepared, have a little bit more structure and planning into your trading. That is the key to successful trading, my friends. You've got to have plans. You've got to plan ahead. You've got to be able to see a chart and think, what could it do? Have a scenario played out, mark it out with alerts on your chart so that you're prepared and ready. So that way, if you're at your job, your alerts can be out there watching the charts for you. I want you to be focused at your job, not trading at your job, right? Be present where you're at. But at the exact same time, yes, you can make money in the background on these swing trades by simply putting alerts out on these levels that you want to watch that I pointed out here today. See what happens when the markets interact with it. And then if you get that bull momentum, great, ride that momentum. You get that bear momentum, awesome, ride that bear momentum. Make money while you sleep. That is the beauty of the stock market. So look for these levels, put alerts out there, be prepared, follow that plan, control your emotions. Simple, right? It's like walking 1,000 miles. Simple, just put one foot in front of the other. But it's hard. But you can do this, and it's just going to take repetition and getting yourself into the mindset of, hey, I'm good to lose. If you can accept every outcome in this trade and just follow that plan of losing small and then let the plan play out when it's winning, you are going to be successful in trading, and we're going to help you get there. My friends, if you are interested in jumping into our real life trading lifetime access into our Slack community, it's awesome, free coaching every single week. All you have to do is just check out the link down below. That $25, just one time $25, is going up to $97 here within the next week or two. So jump on that now. Don't wait, because it will be going up to $97 in just a couple weeks. Jump into that community where you can interact with great traders, get taught by professional traders, and enjoy a complete library of free online video courses for trading, of answering anything that you need help with. Love you guys. Thanks for taking the time out of your day to watch this video. I hope it helps you make more money in the future. Come join us here at Real Life Trading, and we'll see you next week.